Let's take a minute to analyze what it is that's being played here. Uh, Basically, it starts off on open C, going down a half step to B natural. Obviously, in half steps, a lot of this is going to be very, very obvious, but I'm going through this for a reason. Um, Basically, then what happens after that is we enter into the land of eighth notes. So we have to transition from half notes into eighth notes. So we have to make sure that as we are perfectly changing notes in time on beat 3, that we immediately start to begin our subdivision process in our minds. Because as we read music, we want to keep our mind active and looking ahead and thinking ahead. So we subdivide going into the eighth notes, keep the eighth notes really flowing and in time, not being afraid of the intervals, and not allowing the intervallic movement, if you will, to affect our volume. Then we come up. Well, you notice too. There's the third in there, the third of the chord. So you have to use the first and second valve. Then coming up to the third, going up to the fourth, F in C major, if you will, for this trumpet part, and then going up to the fifth, and then back up to the root. Now this is interesting here because you know that we articulated the first note, and now we slur through all of this, slurring back up to the C on beat 2, and then we have a perfect rest here on 3. So the entire horn line will be resting on 3, going all the way to that left, right, left. It's a left foot release. Then it's a right foot attack, because we're going to be adding the mark time to this as well. And then you go 4 to 1. Now the thing about beat 4 to 1 here is that it is marked as legato. So basically, the marking there is that, yes, you are going to articulate that note, but you are going to go smoothly from 4, beat 4 into 1, and basically what I'm also going to have everyone kind of write in on the day of open house even is I'm going to write in a little bit of a crescendo here. And that is going to be so that from a distance, there's going to be no loss of brass sound here, right? No loss of brass sound whatsoever from beat 4 to beat 1, even though we have to articulate both of these notes. That's something we're really going to emphasize. I believe that that's a really important thing for us to learn. So then you have 2 beats rest, and then you're back in on the next key. Now you go through the next key. We see A sharp there. Don't freak out. It's just first valve. D sharp, second and third valve. I guess I could have written that as E flat or B flat, but we will figure that out together. And sorry, I'm just looking at this trumpet part here. I should probably do this for the baritone and tuba part as well, and even the mellophones. Then we go into our next key down B flat, then we have A. The interesting thing about these 2 keys, what I have highlighted here, is you're going from B flat to F to D, and you have to use the slide, right? You have to use the slide, the third valve slide, in order to get that D in tune. And you have to use it even more to get the D flat in tune, or the C sharp, depending on how you look at it. We're going to call it D flat because that's what it's written as right now. But you have to make sure that the slide comes back in for the E flat. Otherwise, that note is going to be massively flat if you don't pull your slide back in for the E flat. So here you actually have to do the slide on the D flat, and then it's going to be out all the way for trumpet players, and then you have to bring it in a little bit for the D, and then you have to make sure it's all the way in for the A flat. So this really covers a lot. You have everything from, like we talked about, difference of half notes, eighth notes, quarter notes. You have a release here. You cover breathing in the very beginning, articulation in the very first note, breathing here on beat 3, articulation from the fourth, from beat 4 to 1, smooth articulation, not losing any brass sound through your articulations or through any of your intervals. So that's basically what's going on here, and a quick quick analyzation, if you will, of the trumpet part for exercise 2.